Hi, Ron Craig here again, sharing with you one more unique, handy, and helpful household hint. Do you ever wish there was a solution to cover crunch? You know, you're lying in bed on your back and the heavy cover is pulling down on your toes. And it either pulls your feet out like this or the heavy cover crunches your toes. Well, I want to share with you the solution that I found to cover crunch. I call it free toes. 2 words, F-R-E-E and T-O-E-S, free toes, because it frees your toes from cover crunch. Years ago, I started looking for something on the market that would free my toes from cover crunch. I did find some on the market made of metal. They weren't real cheap, and I used them, and they were adjustable. And they had wing nut screws, but I could never get them tight enough to hold it up, and eventually it would slide back down and the cover would be right back on my toes again. So I took those back and got my money back. Then I started looking around for something I could use to make my own, and I found this PVC pipe. 1/2-inch PVC pipe works just fine. It's plenty strong, it's not too big, and it works fine. Then I started looking for the attachments, and I found these little, I call them 3-pronged elbows. So you'd need a couple of those on the bottom, and then regular elbows on that end. And in the top section, you'd need 2 more of these, and then the elbows, and then cut the pipe to the desired length. Here's one I have put together. And these right here is this bottom, and these that I have laid out here are the top, and then I have the 2 uprights which holds the top from the bottom. And this slides under your mattress, and this holds the cover up because you put the cover over that, and it holds the cover up off your toes and makes them free from cover crunch. Now I'll go into another bedroom and show you a couple that I've already made, a pair of these, and I'll show you how they fit and talk about the size and how to get them the right size and so forth. Here we are in the other bedroom. This is a queen size bed. I made these free toes units to fit this bed. There's a little gap between them, and they don't come all the way out to the end. They're plenty strong, so that holds the cover up. This dimension will probably, you'll want to keep that the same because your toes fit up in here. But different mattresses are different thicknesses, so the measurement of the uprights will depend on the thickness of your mattress and the length of your feet. And these are the real variables. These probably you want to be about the same, and you want these to be about that long to go under the mattress to hold it in place. So the uprights are the real variables, and you'll want to make sure you measure everything real good while you're at it. Also, in measuring things, you need to consider that these pipes go into these attachments about 3/4 of an inch on both ends. So you want to take that into consideration whenever you're doing your measuring of the pipes. Obviously, you will need a tape measure and a pencil to mark. And then you'll need either a hacksaw or one of these handy PVC cutters. Now, when you're using these, it could be that some of these attachments want to slip apart. And if they do that, once you get to the length like you want them, and you know that's the size you want, then you may want to use some PVC cement to hold them together. Now once you put that on there, they're together and they won't come apart. So you need to consider that. Make sure you got your dimensions proper like you want them before you put cement on it. Let me move these out of the way. Each free toes project will be unique. It'll be custom. Like I said, either half bed or a full bed or a queen bed or a king bed. So you'll want to make sure that you do your measurements like you need. Measure the depth of the mattress and the length of your feet, and then do this, measure the uprights, considering that 3/4 of an inch will go up in the attachments, so you'll need to consider that to hold this up to the right height. Now, my wife suggested something that I hadn't thought about. This is very important because there are a lot of people in nursing homes. You may have a family member in a nursing home who's bedfast, and it could be that they would like some relief from cover crunch. Therefore, you might have to do some negotiation with the nursing home officials to get them to let you do this, but you could make these for your loved one in a nursing home, and if the nursing home people will let you do it, then you can install that on their bed and hold the cover up off of their toes and relieve them from cover crunch. But also, in many cases, you may have a family member bedfast at your own home, or a neighbor, or family in some other home, and you might consider making some of these for them and talk to them about it, and they may want to let you do that, because a lot of people don't like cover crunch on their toes, and it makes your toes free, because you see your toes are here and it's free from the cover, and you can wiggle them around. And I used to think, well, what about the heat and cold? But I found out that there was not that much difference under the cover. It's still the same temperature. They didn't get cold. My feet didn't get cold, and they didn't get hot, but they were free to wiggle around, and it helps you to sleep better when you're sleeping on your back. Well, what about the covers? You can pull a sheet up over the free toes, and most sheets are long enough that you can pull them down. They're still high enough to get them up to cover you, but they're long enough to come down at least on each side. You can tuck these sheets in and actually tie them, if you want to, on each side. Then take the bedspread and pull it down, and most of them are long enough to hang down. They're still high enough up top, but you can pull them down where they cover the free toes and you don't see them. And then your bed ruffle under here it comes up and joins it, and you've got the free toes covered, and so that won't be a problem. If you have to get a longer sheet, you might have to. That just depends on how much your toe comfort is worth to you. But this is a demonstration, one more time, a unique, handy, and helpful household hint by Ron Craig. And I believe this will be a help to a lot of people. And I appreciate you sharing it with others, letting others know that they can do this. You can do this with a few tools and your own imagination and a little bit of proper measurement and a little bit of work, and you can have free toes to deliver you from cover crunch.